Before I start out, I'll specify that what I've got on here is mostly I'll be talking about Region 2. We've also added Northeast Region, but as looking things up, I discovered that Mike Fagenbaum and Rob Cutts have helped to produce a very, very good website, which has all of that information. So I'm going to refer to that website and leave you to be able to do the research on your own. For the Region 2, I've got a bunch of patches, neckerchiefs, and other items that I've managed to find, but I haven't been able to find any good source to be able to list everything that is actually out there. And so it's going to be divided into two parts, the stuff that I actually have, and then the stuff that I found pictures of, but I've never seen myself. And I also know that some stuff went out to council executives because the daughter of my old council executive, when I mentioned I was doing this, told me that she had more of her father's materials that she would look up and get to me to be able to add to the collection. So I'll start out here with the patches that I have for Region 2. And when I went to the Jamboree in '57, I discovered there was such a thing as region patches. And that was was out looking to be able to get those patches. And I believe that these are in the correct order, but it's the old football patch where it's the New York, New Jersey for Region 2. Then they went to the round with the picture of the two states. And then they 46, and I don't know why they must have put something out specially in 1946, which is the third patch on the top. And then they went to the Statue of Liberty with the 2 patch. And as you can see, they've got they added on the different areas, and they added on the different sizes as you went through with the patches. But these are all the shoulder strips that we use for Region 2. Then going on to some of the neckerchiefs that I've seen, at the same time that you've got the patches, you've got the neckerchiefs, and this is the New York, New Jersey, and this is one of the full square neckerchiefs. As far as I know, it's the only Region 2 full square neckerchief that was issued, because they then went to the triangle neckerchief, which is exactly the same design. And then they added in Puerto Rico, as you can see on the line here, you've got in the center for that. And again, this is a triangle neckerchief. And then they went to this black neckerchief right at the same time that they introduced the Statue of Liberty design to the patch. And then for the 50th anniversary of scouting at the World Jamboree, this apparently was the contingent neckerchief. And then they started to do the same type of things with the regular neckerchiefs. And the difference here is that, and I don't know which order it is, you have the thin and the thick letters, which you also find on many of our patches. I don't know whether they were issued at the same time or different. And then here's the last of the Region 2 neckerchiefs that was out, and that was the one used for the Farragut World Jamboree. Also, they issued, and I only have them up through the 3 jamborees. There may have been earlier ones and later ones, and I've never seen them. The first one here on the left is a very, very flimsy type neckerchief slide that was issued to all of the contingent members from the region. They did a more substantial one there for the 1960, and a really nice looking one for 1964. And the last one on the far right is simply a region neckerchief slide. Now here's a bunch of the miscellaneous items. This is the one that I think is a real neat one. You all probably know that in around 1950, there was a campaign to restore the Statue of Liberty. And Scouting got involved in doing that with raising money. And somebody had the nice idea to do Statue of Liberty replicas, which were sold, and there were over 200 of those that were placed around the United States. And a lot of them have vanished now, but I gather there's somewhere around 100. And I don't know whether this Crusader campaign was related to that or not for the thing, but it's the same time period, and it shows the Statue of Liberty with a very elaborate base. And the base is not the same thing that they have on the statues that were placed around the country. And I know we in Schenectady have one of the ones that the Scouts in Schenectady raised the funds to be able to create. And it's been relocated in the past couple of years as what used to be our Liberty Park was totally remodeled. Here's one of the items that the Scout executives were able to get. And again, one of the things I've looked at to try to find information on. I do not know what the Thomas A. Burton Award it was, but it was an award presented either to councils or to Scout executives. And this is one of the glass lucite, a little timer. And here is one, I know it's a bit difficult to read. It's the Governor Nelson A. Rockefeller Award for 1962 Proficiency in Scouting. And there probably are more than these. Now, everything that I've shown you is stuff that I have. The ones that I'm showing now are ones that I've got pictures of. And somebody, and I don't know where I got all of these, I just put them off. This is a complete board which shows the neckerchiefs and patches that I have done plus additional ones. And you can see some of the things that are here that I do not have, but I don't know whether this is a complete collection or not. But if it is, it's a nice thing to be able to try and look for, to be able to get some of the patches and neckerchiefs, and also some pins and probably decals. And they also did several Explorer and Senior and Air Scout activities. And here is a pin for an Air Scout encampment. And here is a patch that went with that Air Scout encampment in 1947. And this one I should have blown up a little bit. This is a Senior Scout encampment that was the next year in 1948. And that also was the same pin that I had shown before. And then I think this is my last item for Region 2. This is one of the annual banquet ones. And obviously that is a presentation to Arthur Shuck, who's the Chief Scout Executive. And you can date it by the fact that it's the the two states in Puerto Rico rather than the Virgin Islands added onto it. And here's something that I hope somebody can give me some more information about. This, I understand, was either the 35 or 37 Jamboree felt piece that was given out to be worn by the Scouts in the individual sections. And I know I've seen a lot of stuff online that says, how do you identify these? And I'm assuming that the two up here would be the region, because I've seen 2 and 3 for it, and that the C is the section, and this might be the troop number. But how to identify where people came from, I've not been able to find, and I gather it's something that folks are still looking for. And this is something that I do have.
Yeah, this is 35 National Jamboree Flash, and you're right, it's Region 2, Subcamp C, Troop 8. And who knows which troop that was, which council.
Yes, that's the big thing.
We've all been trying to figure out.
Yeah, and what this is you could, there's the link to be able to do. And because that Mike and Rob and a few others have created this website, which has all of the information on here, and you've got either the catalog or the gallery view, and what it shows is the detail on every single patch, or almost every single patch that was issued by the Northeast region. And they're divided by just the straight Northeast region patches, the Order of the Arrow patches, Jamboree patches, and World Jamboree patches, and then the event patches. And I decided I'm not going to bother to show you this because you can look at these things yourself. And it gives you the detail on the type of material that's there. And so that's a lot more than I actually have.
This website actually belongs to Dave, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Scocca. SCOCCA. This is his website, and Dave's really responsible for this. I just helped him out with it, and with the two of us working together trying to get the ordering right, he reached out to Michael, and because Michael was the designer of the of this particular design, and so he gave us his input as well, and so we just went through a reordering over in the last month to try and to get it more squared away between what I knew and what Michael could provide, and so this is really Dave's website, so kudos to him for doing this.
And it's a great resource if you're interested in the Northeast region patches, and it is, again, you're using the catalog view, I think, and if you look at the gallery view,
yeah, I was in the gallery. Here's the catalog view right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gives you, as you can see, a tremendous amount of information about the patches. What I didn't say on there is that it's basically the patches. It doesn't have the neckerchiefs. And again, this is not all of the neckerchiefs, but this is the early Northeast region neckerchief that you can see. And the way you can tell is in the center of here you have a scout sign. And that was used for the Northeast region in the very beginning. And then they moved, they have the stars on there too, but they switched off from that to totally eliminate. And there have been 3 different designs when the Northeast region had 6 areas. and then 7 areas. And you can tell for the age of the neckerchief by the number of stars that are on there. So this is the last one. This is what was the, I would say, current, except that we no longer have region. So this was the last region neckerchief that was done. And here's one that was done for the Jamboree in 1977. And at that point, you can see that there were 5 areas for the region. And then here we go for the 1985 Jamboree. And at that point, they've added and separated out. And so there are 6 areas in the region. This is a little bit different design that they did for the 89 Jamboree, and it matches the design that you can see for the patch that they have. And then here's the last of the Northeast region pins. I assume that there were ones earlier than this, but I don't know because I don't have them. Again, all of this material is stuff that I actually have. And at the 93 Jamboree, and I know it's a little bit difficult to do, when they separated out the sections, subcamps by the regions, these are the 5 pins that they used. There's also patches that go along with that, and I just didn't bother to reproduce those because you can see that with the resource that I've given you. And here's some additional pins. There's a National Order of the Arrow Conference pin that was done in 92, and then the National Leadership Seminar for the Northeast region. I've got this slide, but I don't know whether there was any others, I don't think. And I've, again, go with a bunch of miscellaneous. These were patches that I did not see when I was looking on the site. And I don't know whether these are official or unofficial patches. The all hands, I'm assuming, is, and I'm surprised it was not under the event sequence. And I would guess that they've issued one of these every time that they've had the all's hand. And what the My District is Better I Care patch was for, I do not know.
Yeah, I have both of these. I don't know if I don't know about that district one either, but the all hands, there's only the one all hands design.
That's anyway. And I'm not certain what this is. This is an interesting piece from 85. It could well be a slide that you had to be able to hook together. And I've not tried doing that. It's sort of designed for that, for a slide. This was something issued really, while it says Northeast region, it was issued by the Area 3 when they divided up New York State into the 3 areas. This is, I can't even read it at this point. I thought it was like.
I think it's the 87 OA seminar pin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was just going to say that I can read it now. It is the upstate seminar, Northeast region seminar that they did. And here's the 2001 belt buckle. I've never seen any other belt buckles. Rob, do you know that they issued any?
I have a bunch.
Okay. And then in 2001, the only thing that I've seen for a subcamp basis is the J.L. Tar subcamp coin, where on the back it says Northeast region. And there may well be others from that, but the person who I had gotten this from did not have any of those. At one point, they issued for the Order of the Arrow a Northeast region sunglasses. So these are the items that I've been able to pick up from the region. And I think it becomes a fascinating history to be able to go through. I'm glad that the Northeast region, there's a lot more detail on what timing for when things are and what they were designed for. Some of them, especially some of the patches that were done, are fairly limited. They were for staff for activities. They were for the Northeast region chief after a certain time period to be able to generally give out. And then there were special ones to be able to give out. So if you're trying now to do a complete collection of Northeast region material, it's not as easy as it might have been in the old days to go for the Region 2 stuff when you didn't have all of the different items that are out there. Although it still is not that easy, I think, these days to be able to get the Region 2 stuff. As a scout, I knew a little bit about them. And one of the scout masters for my jamboree had some of the early ones, which is the way I discovered them. And I've got to give thanks to one of our no longer with us collectors. Jim Clough is the person who actually came up with all of the patches and neckerchiefs for Region 2. And I picked those all up from him. I had some of them beforehand, but not that complete set.